my god. Well, well, well. Would you look what came in the mail today? I've been telling everyone in my life that I feel like today is Christmas Day. Today is Christmas Day. If you're new here, I recently ordered a physical bound copy of the rough draft of the first novel that I've ever written, which is titled Unraveling. And this is going to be my first time seeing the draft in physical form. I've been looking forward to this so much, and I've been just emotional all of this morning thinking about the fact that I'm finally going to get to hold the project in my hands. I think this is the surreal moment. Finishing the draft was cool. This feels like the accomplishment. Okay. I'm like shaking. So this project ended up being 74,000 words, so I'm very curious to see how big it will be. And the cover that you're going to see on the project is just a fake temporary, oh my god, just a fake temporary cover. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay, the spine is just slightly off. We have like a tiny stripe. This is what I went with for the rough draft. It just says Unraveling the first draft. The quality is gorgeous. This like, it's like a soft matte, but it's like, it feels so luxe. Oh my god. Oh my god. It looks like a real book. It looks like a real book. Shut up. This makes it so much more real. Look at the beginnings of the chapters. I'm obsessed with how I formatted this, guys. Oh my god, I can't believe I wrote this. 274 pages. Look at the title page. I mean, this is just temporary, but holy shit. That's my name. That's my full name. Look at the top. Briellejcruz. Unraveling. Shut up. I love even the little things, like the scene breaks have this like little gradual line. I can't believe this. This is a whole book. Like, it's small, but it's a whole book. It is a little bit thinner than I was maybe expecting it to be, but I know it's gonna get thicker when I revise it. Oh my god, it feels so good in my hands. I wrote this. Okay, I need to go show my boyfriend. I did cry. Now that I've had my whole emotional moment, I want to talk to you guys about how I did this in case this is something that you guys want to do for your own project. So first off, I ordered this personal use copy from Barnes & Noble Press. So Barnes & Noble basically lets you print a personal project in as limited of a quantity as you want. So I printed 2 of these. I have one on my nightstand now because how could I not? It is this very soft, almost moussey texture. I guess it's a soft matte, which I know some people find irritating. I think it feels really good. Yes. So in terms of what I used to do this, like I said, I got it printed through Barnes & Noble Press. You just need to look up Barnes & Noble Press personal use copies. And then for the formatting of the interior of the book, I used Vellum. So that is why it looks so freaking cute. I used Vellum. I bought the software. It was like $250. Now, if you just want to do this for yourself and you don't plan to self-publish your books, no need to spend $250 on Vellum. I chose to do that because I knew I was going to have to invest in Vellum sooner or later, knowing that I want to self-publish. So I'm going to be formatting my own books. I needed a formatting software, so that's why I chose to buy Vellum at this point in order to do this. But if you are not planning to self-publish your books, but you still want a formatted copy of your draft for yourself, I know that there's ways to format your books in Word. I think it's a little more complicated, but there's templates and stuff that you can use. So I would just look into how to format your book in whatever software it is that you're using. I think even Scrivener, maybe you can pull off some sort of export. But I'm just going to show you very briefly the process process. A lot of people over on my Instagram at Brielle's Writing expressed interest in knowing how I did this and a bit of a tutorial, so that's what we're gonna do. Oh yeah, before we get into that, the price. So I think I paid $5.40 for each copy, which feels so reasonable, especially compared to a normal book price. Keep in mind, however, that it is relatively short, so I imagine the price would be substantially bigger if it was a larger manuscript. For context, it is 274 pages as it currently stands. Oh, my friend Dustin is FaceTiming me to see the book. One moment.
Oh my god! I found it.
My little rough draft. It actually turned out like pretty good quality. Like I'm pleased. It's soft.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
Thank you. Cute. Okay, so I'm going to take you guys into Vellum very, very quickly, but if you guys want to see a full Vellum tutorial, how to format your book in Vellum, because not to toot my own horn, but I think I kind of snapped. I think it looks really freaking good. I'll have to do like a little overhead shot so you guys can see what the formatting looks like. It's kind of good. Like, it's kind of good. Some of the pages I did actually just do in Photoshop because I wasn't pleased with what Vellum automatically had. For example, this title page is not Vellum's automatic title page. So I just did it in Photoshop and saved it as an image and dropped it into the page, which I think is what other authors be doing, because I've noticed for certain pages in books that I know were formatted with Vellum, for example, the title pages, they will typically have like a more dramatic font for the title and a different sort of formatting that matches the cover. So I feel like people are doing it in Photoshop or something similar. I could be wrong, but that's what I came to the conclusion of. When it comes to the actual formatting itself, so the way Vellum works is you can essentially just click this Show Styles tab, and then you can select the style that you want to use. So I went with Venture, which I think looks so good, crisp, classy, perfect for a fantasy book. I'm obsessed. And then you can go into this little sort of edit button and you can get more specific. So you can choose exactly what you want for the heading. For example, do you want it to say chapter 1 or just 1? You can choose first paragraph. I picked sort of the medium sized, larger first letter. I don't know what that's called, drop cap, but you can also go with a bigger one. You could go with none, or this one has it in like all caps at the beginning of the line. Lots of options. I ended up going with the sort of smaller, where'd it go? The sort of smaller drop cap, which I think looks really nice. You can choose what you have for your page breaks. So I went with this, what's the word? Like tapered line. And you can get really specific. You can pick how a written note looks, a text conversation. It's really cool. And then of course your header and footer. So I just have the author name and the title. And then you can choose your body text, which I went back and forth on this for ages and ultimately decided to go with Baskerville for my body text. I just feel like it's nice. It's a serif. It's clean looking. Originally I was going to do Athelis because this is very there's a truck beeping, which is very rude. This is very similar to the type of font in The Serpent and the Wings of Night, but I think it has a little bit more of a darker, grittier feel, which doesn't really match the book. So I'm happy with Baskerville as my choice for now. And the dimensions of mine were 5.5 by 8.5 for reference. And you can also customize for print versus different ebook formats. Obviously, I was working mainly on the print format since I was getting a physical copy. Now, to adjust the font size and all of that, you would go to File, Print Settings, and then you can change the trim size of the book as well as any margins, and then adjust the font size and line spacing. I ended up going for a bit of a smaller font size with more substantial line spacing, and I'm really happy with how that ended up looking, so I think I'm going to stick with those exact selections when I print the actual book. And then when all is said and done, you just go up here and click this generate button, and then you can save a PDF of the entire file generated, and it automatically makes it all ready to be printed. So now we're going to search up Barnes & Noble personal use copy, and then I'm going to click print personal books here. It's a little bit hard to find on the Barnes & Noble website, so I liked just searching it directly like this. Let's just pretend we were making a new book. So we would click get started here, then we would click print, of course. We would give our book a title. So let's say this was test book. Next, and keep it personal so that it's just a personal use copy, not something you're trying to sell. Then you would choose your book size and type. So you would have to input an estimated page count. So in this case, I think my estimated page count was what? 290, did I say? 270 something. So you would put that. Your page size. So I was going for 5.5 by 8.5. Interior print color. So I just went with black and white. Cover format, I did a paperback. We went with matte for the finish. and then cream for the paper color that looks a lot better. I'm just gonna save you some trouble now. Do the cream paper. I just like went ahead and selected the auto formatting, and honestly, it all looks good. Now, keep in mind if you're doing this through Word, you might need to jump through some extra hoops with embedding your fonts and stuff. Make sure that you look into that if you're using Word. Obviously, I didn't have to worry about that. And then eventually you get to this screen where you upload your file. So here's my Unraveling print copy. I would upload it here, and it's going to go ahead and process your file. We're now on the cover screen. Now, what I did is not the perfect solution because there is this little stripe. The spine is not perfectly lined up. I don't find it overly bothersome, but it's definitely not perfect. That being said, I kind of knew it probably wouldn't be perfect because I did not go through the trouble of designing a proper full cover wrap because I'm not a cover designer. So I took the easy way out. You have two options. One, you can upload two separate files for the back and front cover, or you can upload the full cover wrap. Obviously, if you've worked with a cover designer, they would give you that full wrap, or if you just know how to design covers, you would know how to do that. It gets a little tricky because you need to customize the width of the spine to the number of pages, and it's a whole thing. So I opted for the easy version and just uploaded front and back cover files. So it basically guides you. It says for a paperback, set your cover size to 5.625 by 8.75. So it needs to be slightly bigger, I guess, than the actual book is going to be, knowing this is a 5.5 by 8.5, which at first I did think was the perfect dimensions, but after comparing it to more of my books, I think I'll go slightly smaller, maybe do the 5.5 by 8.25. Honestly, there's no quite right or wrong answer. It's more so what you like, but this is a bit bigger than most of the paperbacks that I own in a similar genre, so we might go a tiny bit smaller with the actual copy. Anyway, it'll give you these dimensions, and then you need to save your cover files as PDF formats. Basically, what I did is I just went to canva.com, the tried and true Canva, and created a design. Let me see if I can find mine. Okay, yes. The first draft, here it is. I used the dimensions that Barnes & Noble told me to use, and I quite literally just went into the templates column and searched for like book cover template and used something that came up. This is really good if you're just, again, using this for a personal copy. You're not going to put it anywhere. You just need your draft printed out. Just use one of these templates. It's a lot easier than trying to make something yourself. And I just customized it and made one for the front cover and back cover with some text featuring the title. And then you export this as a PDF, and we're going to go ahead and upload the front cover here. What the heck did I save this as is the question. This is what we end up with once we insert the cover files. Now you do have the option to insert text along the spine. I chose not to do this. You could put your title and your author name. And then in terms of the spine color, I literally just used this little dropper to select a color that was alongside the spine so that it would look as natural as possible, like you see here. And then you can customize the font color as well as the font that you use. So we could use Baskerville. I guess I didn't go with it on the spine because I thought this looked kind of cheesy. I don't know. But then you would just go ahead and save and continue, and it'll process your little file. And we're getting really close to the end of the process already. So then you'll see a little preview of what it would look like. So this actually looks kind of cute with the text. Maybe I'll do that next time I print out a draft, but that is what the full cover will look like. Lovely, gorgeous, incredible, amazing. And there is, I guess, a place where an ISBN number would supposedly be, even though this is a personal print copy. So then you go ahead, you say you approve your cover, save and continue. And there we go. And now we have our book summary. So it'll tell you the book size and type. You can review all these details. You can check on the print preview, on the cover preview, and then it'll tell you your price per book. So in this case, my test book is $5.80. So then you would submit it for approval. Now, in terms of timing, for me, first thing I will say is that I got rejected the first time I submitted for reasons I don't understand. I think that this system might be slightly flawed. About a day after I submitted, I got an email in my promotions tab of my email, so I didn't even see it right away, which had me kind of mad. But I got a thing basically saying your book was rejected for unknown reasons, like you need to resubmit it type of thing. So I was like, okay. So I just resubmitted it. Then it took several days and then it got approved. So I would say from the time that I first submitted it to it finally getting approved was maybe about a week. Then it takes 5 days for it to be printed, and then it gets shipped to you, which took an additional 4 or 5 days. So I would say the total process from me placing the order of the book to actually receiving it was maybe about 2 weeks. So keep that in mind, maybe even a little bit longer. So I would definitely manage your expectations. It's going going to be a little bit of time before you actually get the print copy in hand, but it is recommended that you take a little bit of a break between drafting and revising. So I think waiting for this print copy could give you the space that you need away from the draft until it's time to jump into revision. I'm so happy overall with how this turned out. This is absolutely something I'll be doing for future projects, like no doubt. I'm more motivated than ever to continue working on this book because I want to get it into other people's hands as well as my own. And I honestly would say, if you want to feel that sense of accomplishment at the end of your draft, if you want to feel like, holy cow, I wrote an actual real tangible book, do this for yourself. Because when I finished the draft, I remember not feeling anything crazy. Like, I was proud, I was excited, but it didn't register. And this, more than anything, has made it register. Seeing it formatted like a proper book is the biggest thing to me. As soon as I opened up a page and saw my characters' names and my writing here, I could not believe that I had written all of these words. And it just felt so much more real. I'm feeling a lot more confident in the book now, honestly. Seeing it in a physical form and seeing that the writing feels real and like an actual author wrote it, that's been very exciting and encouraging. And I was overall pretty pleased with the Barnes & Noble Press experience. With shipping and all of that, it was like $20 to get 2 copies of the book, which I think is so reasonable. My only complaint is, of course, I wish I had been a little bit faster, but they're printing a custom book for you. Like, I can't really complain. It's pretty sick that they even offer this. So yeah, I can't recommend it enough. But now we begin the rereading process. So I'm gonna take myself on a proper date tonight. I'm gonna go to a cafe. I'm going to get a snack, and I'm going to read my book that I wrote. I'm gonna sit there with this and I'm gonna be reading my own book. I'm so grateful that I did not let myself reread as I was drafting, because literally even just flipping open and reading miscellaneous lines, I'm like, I didn't remember that. I didn't know that I wrote that. Like, what? I'm gonna try my best to silence my inner critic, because for the first reread, I don't want to be thinking about things I want to change. I just want to enjoy the book as if I'm a reader. And then for the second reread, we'll get granular and I'll start marking up everything I want to change. But for now, we're just gonna bask in the accomplishment and enjoy this book as a freaking book, because that is what it is. And also, if I do pare down the margins a little bit, it probably would have been a little bit thicker. So once I revise and it grows in size, I have a feeling it'll be about the size of Bride, which, let's compare. Okay, this is Bride by Ali Hazelwood. All right, here it is. Beautiful book. Comparison, in case you're curious, of the dimensions. So as you can see, the width, pretty much the same. The height, the Bride book is just slightly smaller than my own, and this feels more like the height I actually want. So I'll probably shrink mine down a tiny bit, but it's pretty close. The Bride book is a little bit thicker, as you can see, but honestly not by much. So I feel like this is a realistic length for my book to get to. And you can see these gorgeous cream pages. I guess the Ali Hazelwood pages are white, which I'm not as big of a fan of. If you wanted the white versus cream page comparison, there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and seeing my reaction to seeing my work printed. Thank you guys so much for being along the journey of writing this frickin' thing, and I cannot wait to revise it with you.